Hi, Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekends Coaching. And I do these lives every Tuesday. I really look forward to them for a couple of different reasons. One of them is for you to be able to shift your perspective, your vantage of your will, if you will, of your business. That's a tongue twister, huh? So shift that so that you can turn it into your competitive edge. Sometimes we've been looking at something a certain way for so long. When we shift it and we look at it from a different perspective, it really makes a huge difference. The second reason is for you to be able to take one action item away. In 15 minutes, we talk about business and leadership and something that you can implement each and every week. So, the people that I primarily work with are business owners with teams who are in the skilled trade industry and the automotive industry. I am in the industry. I grew up in the industry, and it's a group that I really love, respect, have a lot of admiration for. So, this week's topic is better than New Year's resolutions, your word. And the reason why I wrote this is because it is very, very timely, right? This is the time of year that people really think about New Year's resolutions. And we've all heard the things, with the gyms and the dieting and all of that. There's like an influx of all that type of stuff. But I have to be really honest with you. I stopped setting New Year's resolutions years ago because they were frustrating. And I realized that they didn't always align with the goals for my year. And when I speak to clients, when I speak to business owners, I find that it turns out I'm not alone. Many people feel the exact same way. And I did some research. The reality is that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail. And the reason why they do is because change involves some degree of emotional friction, right? And we know that. Logically, we know that. And this really generates stress for a lot of people. And that's the real challenge and why a lot of New Year's resolutions do fail, 80% of them. So, what I find is that many people set only business or career goals. That's what they start with first. And a lot of times, the reason why that happens is because, we think of ourselves as work first, that identity, that part of us. But that's what people tend to do. And the challenge is that when you have so much focused on work, you don't realize that there's more to you than work, right? And having goals in all areas of your life really help you feel fulfilled. We see this all the time when someone comes into work and you can tell that something is going on at home, even if they don't say it. Or when someone comes home and maybe they didn't have the best day at work, everyone at home can tell, even though they don't say it. So it's really important when we think about, you know, setting a goal that we're looking at all areas of our life so that we do feel fulfilled. So I choose a goal for these areas of my life. And keep in mind that your stage of business or your career and your life may be different than someone else's. So when you set a goal for the different areas of your life, realize that you're customizing it for you. So I want to give you 4 areas that I think it's important to focus on. One of them is business. This could be financial, right? It could be related to your career or some form of growth in your business, in your career. Then personal. Personal would be identified as hobbies, volunteering, your faith, causes that are important to you, and a growth. You want to personally grow in one area or some areas. And then relationships with family, friends, you have kids, grandkids, peers, networking, and you want to grow there too. You want to nurture and maybe even develop more relationships. And then when it comes to health and fitness, there's exercise, eating, sleeping, having fun, allowing time to have fun, factoring that in, and then growing as well in those areas. So when you think about it, there's so much more to us than work. But what I see a lot of times is what we set for a goal doesn't align with all the different areas of our life. So, what I started doing was I started choosing a word for the new year, a word that would align with my goals. And this was really helpful because what happens is most of us know that the areas of work and life that need to improve for us to show up at our best, right? We want to be our best, and we know the areas that we need to improve on. So you don't want to leave the new year to chance. What you want to do is you want to come up with a word that works for you. So what I wanted to do is share some examples. Hi, Bob. Glad you're here today. I wanted to give you some examples of words just to kind of make this real. So expectations could be a word that you use, and that could be a word for the year. Do you need to get better at setting expectations and communicating them? Would that help you achieve your goals in your business life, your personal life, your relationships, and with your health and fitness? If you set clear expectations, not only the expectations that you have of others, but communicate what people can expect from you. Maybe patience is a word. Do you need to work on patience, right? How do you show up when things aren't going well? Or do you have a way of doing things and people maybe don't work the same way as you do? Or people in your family don't operate or show up the same way as you do. So, do you need to work on patience? That could be a word. Listening. Is listening something that'll help you in all the areas of your life, business, relationships, health, right? When you think about this, your personal life, what have people said to you in the past? So, those are just examples of words that you could use. And the idea is whatever your word is, it will guide you personally and professionally. It will help you to improve your work, your life, your personal life, your relationships, and your health. So I want to break this down into 3 simple steps because this now it's like, how do I do this, right? What's the actual plan here? So step 1 is, what are the outcomes? What outcomes do you want in all the areas, personal, professional, relationship, and health? When you think about it, that's not really hard to do. Write down the outcomes that you would like at the end of next year. This time of year, if you were reflecting back, what would you want it to look like? What are the outcomes? Then choose. Step 2 is to choose a word that works for you. Make that your North Star. So it's going to remind you. So if we chose the word, for example, patience, and you were having a day at work, you would have to say to yourself, okay, my word's patience. Am I being patient right now in this situation? And that would guide you. It's your North Star. And then step number 3 is really important. Enjoy the process. Because when we think about this, we think sometimes only of the outcomes, but it's important to enjoy the process. And here's a way that you can enjoy that process. It's a bridge, if you will, that will keep you on track. So when you're thinking about this, what do you need to stop doing? If we use the example of patience, what do you need to stop doing to be able to show up as someone who's having more patience? What do you need to start doing that you're not doing now? What do you need to continue doing? Because it's something that does work for you. What do you need to do more of? And what do you need to do less of? Those 5 things will really help you with that one word that you use. Let's use the example of expectations. If you were having expectations be your word for the year, what do you need to stop doing? Maybe instead of focusing only on what you expect from others, maybe you have to stop mainly focusing on that and say, wait a minute, I focus too much on what I expect from everyone else. But what I need to start doing is I need to start being really clear of what people can expect from me. What do I need to continue doing? What is working for you? Is it the way you approach people? If that's working well for you, then continue doing that. What do you need to do more of? And what do you need to do less of? So you go through those um, 5 steps there that will help you when you choose your word. You go through that all the time when you're in a situation. So I'm really curious about what you think of this idea as opposed to having resolutions and focusing on the one word. Bob here is saying his word is target. I think that's great because that can be a word that you can use in all areas of your life. It's a great word for your North Star. And the idea is keep it real, make it work for you. This is customizable. And the other part of this is we have to stop comparing ourselves to others, because a lot of times what happens is other people are in different stages of life and different stages of business. They might be in a different place in their life. They might be a different place in their career. So you customize it so that it works for you. And Michael, glad to have you here. His word is arrow. Oh, I love that. And that sounds like that's a great word to be your North Star, to help you in all areas of your life. So I found this to really be helpful for me as well. I've been doing it for years. I stopped the New Year's resolutions, and this is something that really keeps me focused and helps me to achieve my goals. And as a new grandparent, I have a new chapter in my life. So my word for this year is boundaries. And I've made changes in work and I've made changes in my personal life so that I can spend more time with my grandchild. And that is really important to me. So I am practicing what I preach, everyone. So if you find this valuable, please share it with another business owner that you know, because we can learn from each other. Business owners are and leaders are great people. I find them to be very, very giving. And share this with another owner or business leader that may get some value out of it as well. So thanks for stopping by, and everyone have an enjoyable week.